All right, the Anker Solix F1500. Gonna go ahead and do a review on this unit and show you some of the things I've been doing. I've had it for about a month now, doing some testing. I got this thing from Signature Solar. The cost right now is a pretty good deal, $599. If you use my discount code RodneyHunt50, you get $50 off any order over $500. So basically, you can get this thing for $549. And once you hit the specs, you're gonna realize that is a deal. And they also do packages, and they have the portable solar panels. This is a 100-watt panel that I got with the unit. Signature Solar did send this out to me for a review, so just so you know that up front, but they didn't pay me for the review or anything like that. I got a little dirt on this thing because I've been using it. But anyway, this just being used, you know, I've actually been testing it out. Look, Anker makes some great products. I can tell you that right now. I own like 25 to 30 Anker products already. This is the first portable power station I've had with them, and I've been testing this thing out. And once you see what it can do, I definitely think you'll be interested if this is something that you need. If you need a backup, you know, for your home, you know, be able to run a refrigerator or something like that. You want something portable and small, or you want power out on your homestead somewhere. You can put this on a cart and take it around with you to have some power. So they have this 100-watt panel. I think they have maybe like a 200 and a 400-watt panel option. They have a couple bundles. And of course, the price is going to go up from the $599 if you want to add on the portable panels, or you can use a regular panel with this. So let's go ahead and jump into the specs. Basically, this thing's gonna be 1,536 watt hours. That's what kind of life power for battery it's gonna have in it. Basically a 1.5 kilowatt battery, you know, if you wanna go into that terminology. It's gonna be able to put out 1,800 watts on your AC side. So of course we have like 6 plugs here on the front for AC. And then we're gonna have 2 USB-Cs on the DC side and 4 USB-As. One of those USB-Cs is gonna be 100 watts. So, hey, whatever you need to power from a USB-C, whether it be a laptop or something like that, it's going to be able to do it from this unit and not going to have a problem. Going to be able to do some fast charging with that. I've been using it already, charging my camera stuff, charging my microphones, you know, that kind of stuff. We're even running my laptop. It'll do all that. So the totals for the USB-Cs is going to be 160 watts total if you're using both of them. One's 100 watt, one's 60. So you won't be able to go over that. You won't be able to use like 2 100-watt things on both the USB-Cs. That's how it works sometimes on these kind of units. And if you have something that runs on the car outlet, you know, the DC cigarette lighter type plug, you're gonna be able to get 120 watts out of that. So that's another option. You're gonna have a good display on this thing. When I was using it outside, you know, it's a lot easier to see this displayed in some other units that I've tested in the past. So that's gonna be good to go. You're not gonna have a problem with that. As you can probably see it right now, you know, the camera's probably focusing on my face more than the unit, but you can probably still see how clear this is. And this unit, from being 0%, you can get from 0 to 100% in less than 2 hours, because it does have 1,000 watts that it can take in at one time off an AC plug. Maximum AC input of 1,000 watts. So if you're using a generator or just grid to charge this thing back fast, 1,000 watts is the maximum. And you can regulate that down. You can change it on the app, which we'll get into later. It's going to have an XT60 type connector for your solar. So if you want to put some solar on this thing, you put up to 600 watts. If you're using 11 to 32 volts, the maximum you can have amp wise is going to be 10 amps. If you're using 32 to 60 volts, which is the max, then 12.5 amps is going to be a max with that voltage range. And of course, it's only going to use up to 600 watts. So as long as your panels are within that voltage and the amperage, you know, you're going to be good to go. Even if it's over paneled a little bit, you know, if you put 800 watts on this thing and it's going to meet those specs, you know, it'll use up to 600 watts of that. And a lot of times it's going to be better because panels aren't going to be 100% efficient. So if you put a 600 watt panel on it, it's not going to get 600 watts out most of the time. All right, we got the Anker 100 watt panel here. Very cloudy outside, like I've been saying, at least right now when I'm doing this testing. But we're gonna plug this thing up and see what we can pull in. Bam. So basically that's what we're working with right now. Not much sun. So definitely probably not gonna pull in much power. But it's real world conditions here. I'm pulling in 28 watts right now off a 100 watt panel, and it's pretty dark out here. So yeah, that's definitely better than nothing. And of course, it comes with several different cables. You know, you got your car adapter, you know, got one, I guess, to do multiple things. that has two XC60s on one end. Comes with several different cables, and I got an XC60 that goes straight from the anchor panel straight to the back of the unit, and then you can get the XT60 to MC4 connectors to hook up a regular panel. I don't think that comes with it. I think I already had one. Let me take a look on it. Basically, right there, I got the XT60 to MC4. So you got the XT60 side. That's the MC4. That's something I bought off of Amazon. I'll leave that link below just in case somebody wants one of those. Seems like it might be a little brighter right now, so the power might be going up. This 37 watts coming in. All right. Basically, I just laid the panel flat on the ground just to see if it's pulling anymore. 68 watts coming in right now. 69. 70. As you can see, just got it laying flat on the ground. Definitely not completely sunny out. Still a lot of clouds up there. I did see up it's 72 watts right now. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully I didn't miss it. I saw it at 72 watts. So this panel does work pretty good, especially for the conditions. 99 watts. And of course, this unit's gonna have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capabilities. You can use your phone to get on the app with just Bluetooth on this thing, or you can connect this thing to Wi-Fi, and you'll be able to control it from anywhere, you know, through your phone. And I think this unit is right around 40 pounds. I'd have to go look it up again, but you know, it's not bad at all. You'll definitely be able to pick this thing up. It's got two handles right on the sides, you know, so it's very easy to pick up. This doesn't have the wireless charging on the top. So, you know, some people that do like that, it doesn't have that option, you know, but you do have those plugs on the front, the USB-A and USB-Cs to charge back your devices. And another thing this has that quite a lot of units have now, it has the light on the front, so you have an ambient and you get it brighter and brighter and then turn it back off. And it does work pretty good because, like I said, I don't have any permanent power in my building out here, so all I've been using is my own little portable setups at this time. I am going to do permanent power on this workshop I'm working on, but when you have portable power stations, you know, that's how I'm powering everything right now. You know, with all these different things, it's portable power stations. So these are a great option. You know, I'm not using this one right now just because I'm making the video, but I have been using it a lot. And then the AC surge on this thing is 2,400 watts. That's what it's rated for. And I can tell you right now, I definitely, if I didn't hit that, I got really close to it with some of the tests I've been doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you outside and show you what I did. Basically, I took a corded chainsaw that was 14.5 amps, you know, hooked it up to this, and I used it to cut a lot of tree limbs down just to see if this unit would do it. And it did it without a problem, and it barely used any other power. And I cut down quite a few limbs, as I'm gonna go ahead and show you now. As you can see, we already went over the power rating for this unit. I saw it to like maybe 23 or 2,400 watts coming out of the thing. This electric chainsaw. So let's see if it's able to cut these limbs on this tree. So all these low branches, we're gonna try to cut them so you can actually get under the thing and cut the grass, and youngins riding bikes and stuff. And of course, a lot of people's gonna have battery powered equipment, but if you have something corded, you need to take power mobily with you. Put it on a little cart like I did. You can have power wherever you got on your homestead or your property. I don't got a bunch of land or anything, but I'm just trying to show you what application you can use this thing for. I am working like a champ. Let's get the camera where they can actually see what's going on here. I'm definitely no expert tree trimmer. You're probably supposed to do this in the fall, I'm sure, but the stuff was getting in the way. So I went ahead and cut it. The tree's probably gonna survive because I've did it before in the middle of the summer. So I'm not that worried about it. Kind of see what we got now. Bottom cleared out. And of course the anchor worked good. Let's see what the power's down to. I think we started at 90%. So I've still got 85% in this thing. And the only reason I put it up on the table is of course to make it easier for the video. But if you're not making a video, I'd 100% leave it on the cart that I brought it over here on, because it worked pretty good on that. 84%. So this thing's cutting way over its rating, putting out more watts than it's rated for. So this thing's definitely doing good. And you know, it's got that surge when you're starting the chainsaw. You know, it's probably going up way higher than what it's rated at. It's 14.5 amps, 120 volts, which is like 1700 and some watts, I believe. And I definitely saw it at 23 or 2400. And it's probably even higher than that because it takes a second for it to register on the anchor and actually show the output. But before that, you know, it's running. So let's go cut this other tree, trim it up. All right, that's mostly it for the trimming. Let's see how much power the anchor's got. All right, just left it down in here now. Let's see if you can see that. 79%, so not bad. We cut quite a few limbs, so it went from 90 to 79. So it only used 11%, and of course we cut quite a few limbs. I'll go ahead and show you the piles. That over there's on the other side. Then this pile here. That pile right there, cleared it up where we can actually see a little bit around this tree. So as you can see, the output on this thing is great. I mean, if you can run a portable chainsaw, you put this thing on a cart, you know, take it around with you to help you with your different project. If you want to run a saw, you know, just a regular, like a miter saw or something like that, you know, it's probably going to be able to do all those different things for you on your homestead or just in your yard. Take this thing with you if you can't get power out to wherever you're working at. Definitely a good option. And then, of course, during emergencies, you'll be able to power a refrigerator or something like this with this unit. It says it'll do like an 18 cubic foot refrigerator for like 7 hours, you know, if this is the only thing you're running on it. So, you know, you definitely be able to make it through a 24-hour or 48-hour power outage. You run your refrigerator for a couple of hours, you know, a couple times a day. You'll be able to make it a couple of days, and that's without charging this thing back. Got a solar panel charging it back, you can run it even longer, or you can use a generator to charge this thing back. Run the generator for 2 hours, you can be running a refrigerator and charging this back at the same time, and then turn your generator off and then run your house or whatever you want to run with your solar generator. So it's going to be a lot quieter, going to use a lot less fuel. Just in case somebody wants to steal something, you know, hey, you can put that thing in your garage at night and don't have to worry about it getting stolen, because this right here can be in your house. You can have this running a couple of lights, running a refrigerator, you know, maybe running your internet if you have that, especially if you have Starlink or something like that. Your internet's probably going to work. And as long as you have power on your Starlink or whatever kind of internet you have that still works without grid power, you know, you'll be able to use the internet. You know, you can check your weather, you check your news, you know, actually know what's going on in the world. Because a lot of times we all know during an emergency, when the power goes out, you know, cell phone service is terrible because everybody's on their phone trying to get information. So a lot of things are not going to work. You might be able to text and stuff like that. When we had a Hurricane Matthew, you know, we had several hurricanes in the last like 10 years around here that were pretty bad. And power was out for days and days and days. And your phone, the internet, it didn't work because everybody was trying to use the stuff. And when the power went out of the cell towers, you know, I think they have a backup battery on the thing, but it's not going to last for so long. And then that stuff went out and the stuff didn't work at all. So you definitely want to stay informed of what's going on. And this can definitely help you make that happen, whether that be a radio or the internet. So let's go ahead and do some charging tests to show you how fast this thing can charge. I have been doing it, but of course I didn't do a video of it. So let's go ahead and plug this up to grid power and I'll show you how fast it charges. Let's see what it's at right now. So right now we're at 65%. Let's go ahead and plug this thing up. All right. got the AC plug here. Go ahead and pull up the app so I can show you how much it's charging. As you hear, you can probably hear it crunk up the noise a little bit on this thing since it's charging. And I probably got it set to 1,000 watts. Let's see what we got it at. I got it on fast. Basically got the app. As you can see, it's 78 degrees right now, 65%. I got 1,042 watts coming into this unit. It says it has 30 minutes left to recharge. And that's just because once you get to the end, it's going to slow way down where it's charging at the top. So if you try to go from 0 to 80, you know, that's going to be the fastest charge. That last little bit is going to be a lot slower. So if you don't want to take it to that last little bit, it's probably going to take as long to go to that last 20% as the first 80%. And that's just how these life power poor batteries and the BMSs work with the stuff. I'll show you the settings. So you see right here, the AC recharge power, you can set it to 1,000 all the way down to 200. So if you have a very small generator, you can charge it at 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 750, or 1,000. So it's got a lot of different options. You know, you can turn your light on and off here. You know, you have an SOS light. You turn that on from the app. You can turn your screen brightness on high. Your screen timeout, you can change it, you know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, or 30 minutes. I got it on 30 minutes just for the video purposes only. You know, like I said, you can connect it to Wi-Fi. You do firmware upgrades on here. You can rename your device, you know, whatever you want it to be. So you got all the basic options that you're going to want to have with the app. You can turn your AC power on and off, you know, your carport on and off, and your DC power, I think that's on all the time on this unit. It doesn't go on and off. I don't think there's a button to do on and off. Let's go ahead and look on the front. Yeah, so the DC side, so you can turn the car socket on and off and the AC on and off, but the DC side is always on. Your 4 USB-A's and your 2 USB-C's, those are always going to be on. So you can turn your display off if you want to, turn it on. So basically you have a power saving button. So you can take that and put it up, and this thing will just drain itself all the way down and leave everything on, even if you're not pulling power out of it. You put it on power saving. And if you have your AC power on, of course, if nothing's coming out, it's still going to be draining power because it's got your inverter inside this unit on, putting out the AC power. So it's always going to use up a little bit of power consumption. So if you don't have anything coming out, you got it on power saving. After a while, it's just going to turn itself off to save that power. So you have to come back and turn that thing on. I like having that option because some things, you know, you may want something to turn on and off every once in a while, and it's not using power. You know, you don't want the unit to turn off, you know, because you want the power to work. So you can leave it off with the power saving off, and it's going to keep on working. But if you don't have anything like that, you can put on power saving on. If you got something that you just need to run for 30 minutes or an hour, but you don't want to come back and check on this thing, but you wanted to turn it off and save all the power it can, just leave it on power saving. So definitely a great option they have on this compared to some other units I've tested that do not have that. They'll just turn off on their own even when you don't want them to. Because let's say you have a medical device that's not running all the time, but it needs to kick on when it needs to run. You know, I want that thing to work when I need it. So already up to 69%. I only been charging what, like a minute or two or something like that. Haven't been charging long at all. So we'll come back in like 5 minutes and we'll see how high it is. Because right now we're still at, right now we just hit 70%. As you can see right here, it's 70%. So let's come back in 5 minutes and see where we're at. All right, 11:03, the time is up and we're up to 75%. So basically in 5 minutes, it went up 5%. Not bad at all. If you're running this thing off a generator, it's definitely going to get charged pretty quick. And like I said, the higher the percentages, the slower it's going to charge, especially once it gets above that 80 or 90% mark. It's going to start slowing down. Because right now, I think we still got over 1,000 watts, of course, coming in. Got 1,035 watts coming in. So it is still charging pretty fast right now. But 0 to 80% going to charge very fast, probably 0 to 90%. And then after that, it's going to slow down. I didn't time it and all that when I was doing it, but I have charged this thing to 100%, and I remember seeing it slow down when it got closer to the top. I just didn't have it on video and all that and didn't record it. So to me, these are even good to have, even if you have a whole home solar system. It is good to have something that's portable because you can always use it on your homestead or in your yard, you know, for different projects where you need some power that you may not have power at, or you may not have enough extension cords to get out to it. This just makes it a lot easier. And you can take this thing on a camping trip, you know, a road trip, and you're going to have power and be good to go. You know, kids and all their devices nowadays, you know, if you don't have enough plugs in your vehicle, you know, you can use one of these and be able to charge back all the devices and can be good to go, not gonna have to worry about it. Or if you do overlanding kind of camping trips, you know, you'll be able to throw one of these in there and have you some power. It's pretty limitless to what all you can use this thing for. Of course, you know, you can let somebody else use it. If the power goes out and you got one of these that you can use on your homestead, but there's an emergency and you already have solar at your house, you know, you can let one of your friends or neighbors or whoever borrow this to keep their refrigerator good and maybe save them some money from all their food going to bad. And that's definitely what I'm gonna be doing with these kind of units that I have. If anything ever happens, I'll let people I know borrow them and borrow a solar panel, you know, to keep their basics going if they need a light or if they need a refrigerator to keep going. And depending on what other needs they have, it may better run something else as well. Just whatever they need at that point, you know, they can use it for. I'll leave the links down in the description. Go check this thing out, of course. You know, you can go look at all the specs for yourself. But, you know, this panel, that 100-watt panel, did work pretty good with this unit. But I would just recommend getting a bigger one. I think right now their 400-watt panel is out of stock, the foldable one. But if you already have a glass panel, a solid panel, you can use it with this as well. You know, it's going to be good to go. You can put a 400, 500, or 600-watt panel on this, or put a couple of 300-watt panels. As long as it doesn't go over the voltage and the amperage, you're going to be good to go. You can put two 400-watt panels on as long as they meet the voltage and the amperage, because you can go over with wattage. You just don't want to go over with the voltage or the amps, because that could damage the unit. So again, this thing is $599. I think when you get a bundle with the solar panels, it starts like $800 and it goes up to maybe like $1,100 or something like that, depending on what size panel you buy. But like I said, I'll leave links down in the description. And if you use code RodneyHunt50, you get $50 off any order with Signature Solar over $500. So you can get this thing for $549, which is a steal in my opinion. And remember, if you like this kind of video, hey, think about hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button, and thanks for watching.